Hey, what's up? This is Scott with Level Up Tuts, and today we're going to talk about adding your own fonts using Add Font Face, and we're going to be downloading fonts from fontsquirrel.com because what they have here is a great collection of free fonts. That's basically freeware that's licensed for commercial work. So basically, you can use these fonts in your projects, and you don't have to worry about licensing or anything like that. So these fonts are all ones that you are able to use in your projects without having to pay anything extra. And so we're going to use a really obvious font here that's Aldo. And basically, here's your font page, tells you about the font. You can click here to download the OTF, install it on your computer. But what we want is this web font kit link right here. And actually some fonts on here are not going to be able to have this web font kit, and they have a thing about whatever particular license they have. But regardless, this Font Squirrel site is a great site for finding free fonts to use in your projects. So we're going to click this download at font face kit, and it's going to download a zip here. Let's check out to see what's inside of this zip that we have. So inside of here, we have a how to use web fonts HTML page. It basically just tells you to upload your fonts, include them in your style sheet, and then include your style sheet, of course, and then you can use it within your CSS. But we don't need to read this because I'm going to show you how to do it. So inside of this folder is a web fonts. We have our font here, and you'll notice we have a whole bunch of different versions. And we need all of these versions because different browsers are going to use different versions of this font, and we want to make sure that we support as many browsers as possible. So I'm actually going to be making a font folder, and it's just going to be fonts, and I'm just going to drag these fonts right in here. And I'm actually going to open up this stylesheet.css, because what's great about this is it actually gives you CSS that you're going to need, and this way you don't have to type it here and be worried that you're going to mess something up, including with these file names that can sometimes get long. So I'm going to copy and paste this whole at font face deal right here, and I'm just not going to save it. And let's come to our CSS, styles.css, and before we do anything, I'm going to paste this right in here. Cool. So let's take a look at this at font face, and this looks a little bit different than anything we've seen in CSS. First of all, it starts with the ampersand, then font hyphen face. What this is doing is it's actually going to be loading up these font files. You'll notice there's an EOT. We also have an EOT with this #IE_fix format embedded open type. It actually gives it a format because it needs it. And then WOFF, and then TTF, and then basically this SVG. So we have all of these formats so that we're totally browser compatible. You won't see any issues with font face. And then we give it a font weight of normal and a font style of normal. And this is just in case, because this is in fact surveying Aldo regular. If this was a bold font, you'd still see font weight normal here because we don't want the browser to add bold onto the font for us. We want to use the actual bold font. So in this particular case, this font family right here is really the defining line here. It says what we need to use to actually use this. So if we copy this font family line, let's actually throw it onto this hello statement here where we had this geo before, and we can just paste this here, and let's fall back to a sans serif as well. And now if we save this, you're going to refresh our page, and it's not going to work. Well, notice how we have our sans serif fallback. And that's actually because we didn't really tell this URL the right path, right? So just like defining a background image or anything like that, we need to actually give this a path so that it can find this font. And so I'm going to do ... to go back one directory, and then fonts, and then that's it. So it's going to be looking in the fonts folder, and now we should see Aldo pop up right here. Cool. Perfect. And what's so great about using CSS fonts instead of, actually I'm going to make sure that there's no font weight bold on this. because it looks like there's possibly some sort of extra font weight, but I could be wrong. Font weight, normal, probably because it's a H2. There we go, looks a little bit better. And so what's really great about using web fonts over something like images is, besides being selectable and readable by Google, which is something that you really want, it allows you to have way more flexibility with colors or drop shadows or anything like that. You want to add a text shadow, you want to add a border, you want to underline, any of that stuff's going to work, and you don't have to worry about modifying an image and coming back. So in terms of maintenance, it's a lot easier, but in terms of just overall everything, it's a wonderful thing. So if you can and you have a license to the fonts you're using, I mean, I almost would always try to find a licensed font version of whatever you're using as sort of a web font, because at this point using images for text is really just not doing you a whole lot of good. So check out Font Squirrel, check out Google Fonts. There's other paid services like Typekit, which are really great. I personally have a subscription to Typekit and I use it all the time, and that just offers you more fonts. They have like professional fonts like Futura and a lot of Adobe's font package because they're now owned by Adobe. But yeah, check it out. Use your own fonts. @FontFace is really great. So as always, this is Scott with Level Up Tuts. If you have any questions or comments, please leave a comment on the video. Hit us up at Twitter, Level Up Tuts. Let us know what you're thinking. We always love to hear from you. Thanks for watching. Bye.